Hi, this is Myla. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make lemon custard filled donuts from scratch at home. Throughout this video, we're going to be going through the steps of how to make it and how I made my donuts, while also explaining troubleshooting, accessibility, and safety procedures that you should take while making these donuts. Now on with the video. Enjoy. So a little bit through making this video, I realized that I had lost a lot of audio from a lot of the clips I recorded. So through a lot of this video, it's going to be a lot of voiceover and like a little bit more like of the video being sped up just because there's no like step-by-step in the video. So I'm just going to speed up everything and explain it in the voiceover. So just a heads up. So there are some safety things that I want to go over because it is very dangerous to work with hot oil, and it is dangerous to work in the kitchen, but I don't want you to shy away from it just because of how dangerous it is. So that's why we're going over these safety tips. So hot oil can cause serious burns that can send you to the hospital, and because we're working with this hot oil, I want to go over these safety tips to make sure that if anything happens, you know what to do. You're going to want to make sure you're very careful when handling it. You never want to put your hands in the oil while it's on the stove, and you're going to need a deep enough pot so that you don't cause a grease fire. You're not going to wear loose clothing because it can get caught onto something or it can set on fire a lot easier if something were to happen. If you get caught on something, you can potentially cause harm to yourself. And we obviously don't want that to happen. Another thing is the kitchen is not a play place. If you want to play or roughhouse, go outside and do that because the kitchen is not it. In the case that you do burn yourself with oil or water, you're going to turn off the stove, and in the case of it being oil, you're going to cover the pot so that it doesn't cause a grease fire. You're going to remove any clothing or jewelry near the burn to make it more accessible and to help it possibly get treated faster. If any clothing is stuck to the burned skin, you're going to cut around it, but don't rip it off because that can also cause a lot of damage. Once your clothing is removed, you're going to run your burn under cold water for around 5 minutes up to 30 minutes. Your water should be cool, not cold. It should be right in between the hot and cold, but a little bit more leaning towards cold, not too much, because cold water causes more damage to your tissue, especially if you have a burn, a serious burn. After running your burn under cold water, you're going to pat it dry and apply a thin layer of burn ointment or aloe, but this step isn't necessary, and you're going to want to wrap it with a moist dressing meant for burns or clean wrap if you don't have any dressing available. You're going to take an aspirin or an Advil for the pain. If the burn is still painful after you've pulled the skin, the over-the-counter pain reliever can help. A pain reliever with anti-inflammatory can also help reduce the swelling. If this is a serious burn, you're going to want to get some follow-up. Even if it is not a serious burn, you're still going to get follow-up because rather be safe than sorry, you know? So to help with follow-up, you're going to get a tetanus shot if necessary, as tetanus bacteria can enter the body through the burn. This is not necessarily needed for small or minor burns, but it is needed if your burn is severe or blistering your skin. You're going to change your wrap daily to keep the burn clean. You're going to wash the burn with mild soap or cold water. While you're washing the burn, inspect your skin for signs of any infections. If you see oozing or pus, or if you notice increased redness or swelling, you're going to seek medical treatment right away because these can be signs of infection. Apart from changes to the burn itself, a fever or swollen lymph nodes are also signs of infection, and you're going to seek medical treatment if you have a fever higher than 100.4 degrees Fahrenheit or 38 degrees Celsius. It may take 1 to 3 weeks for the wound to heal, but if it hasn't healed in that time, you are definitely going to seek medical attention. That's all for the safety. Again, the kitchen is not a play place. Just take necessary safety precautions. Don't be running around with knives in your hand. Don't run around with scissors. Things like that. Just don't be stupid, and you won't have to find out. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, that's pretty much it for the safety tips. Now on with the rest of the video. This is the point where I realized I had lost a lot of my audio, which is really sad. But this is where the voiceover begins. So in a medium-sized bowl, you're going to want to take your 1 cup of sugar, and in that little bowl I just showed you, that is the zest of my 1 to 2 lemons. Depending on how big your lemons are, how small they are, you might need more or less. If you have smaller lemons, you're going to need more. Bigger lemons, you probably need less. So in this bowl, we're going to combine those two and rub it together with your fingers until it looks like wet sand. This helps the flavor of the lemon be more prominent because the oils from the zest are being released into the sugar. After everything is combined, it looks like wet sand. You're going to want to add your eggs and your egg yolks. You have 2 eggs, 2 egg yolks. It doesn't matter in which order you add them in, it will be the same outcome. And you're going to whisk those until everything is combined. So after everything is combined, you're going to want to add your lemon juice. This is from my lemons, this is about 2 lemons because they were really big lemons. So if you have big lemons, you'll just need 2, or less if your lemons are huge. So from this point on, we're moving our mixture to a double cooker. A double cooker is where you just take a pot of water and put a heat safe bowl on top of it and you cook it that way. Pretty soon I'm going to show you that I moved my mixture into the pot because the double cooker wasn't working for me. So just move it to a pot, like it's so much easier that way. But you're gonna mix this and keep it on like a medium low heat until it becomes thick. Here it's starting to get the consistency of yogurt, so that's what you're kind of looking for in this mixture. After you complete that step, you're going to want to move your mixture into a blender cup. I'm straining it through for the purpose of the video just because straining it through helps to get all like the lemon zest out of the mixture, so it's not like a clumpy mixture in the end, or so that when you like eat it you're not biting into a bunch of lemon zest. If you don't care for this, you can completely skip the step and throw everything into a blender cup. It saves so much more time, but this is what it's looking like afterwards. So after I put everything into my blender cup, I put the lid on and I started blending it up. This helps to incorporate some air into it just so that it's not super like thick and it will cool down a little faster. It makes it also a little bit fluffier. After you're done putting it into a blender, you're gonna let this cool for about 20-30 minutes, or just until like it's a little bit warm, not hot still, or you can put it into the fridge to cool faster, which is what I did. So after you let it cool or you take it out the fridge, you're gonna want to add in a stick of butter. If you decide to get a full stick of butter, you're gonna have to cut it up into cubes, or you can go to the store and get pre-cubed butter, which also helps, but it still has to be a stick of butter. And you're just gonna slowly add in the butter and it creates an emulsion. So we're gonna pause the video here and we're gonna hop into what. So an emulsion is a culinary technique that involves blending 2 liquids, primarily oil and water, into a stable mixture, and there are 2 types of emulsions. There is temporary and permanent. For this video, it's a permanent emulsion, but we'll go through both the definitions. So the temporary emulsion is an unstable blend, and it tends to separate over time. Common examples include vinaigrettes and simple salad dressings, which require whisking or shaking before serving. In this video, we're using a permanent emulsion, which is more stable and do not separate as easily, which, for like an example, mayonnaise, it's created using egg yolks as an emulsion, which helps the oil and water mix together. And the role of emulsifiers are substances that help stabilize emulsions by reducing the surface tension between 2 liquids, which allows them to mix more easily. So after adding in all of your butter, you're gonna put your lemon custard in the fridge to cool for about 4 hours, or as long as it takes you to make these donuts. And after I put mine in the fridge, I cleaned up a little bit. I just reused the same bowl. I just washed it how it needs to be washed. I washed all my measuring cups out and I just reused those to get ready to set up for making the donuts. So here is where we're starting for our donuts. We have about 4 cups of flour, a tablespoon of instant yeast, a half cup of sugar, 1 cup of warm milk, 2 eggs, 2 tablespoons of vanilla extract, a half teaspoon of salt, and you're going to also need 3 teaspoons of salted butter. So we're starting with our 4 cups of sugar in the bowl, and we are slowly adding in our dry ingredients. So with this flour, we're going to add in our sugar, yeast, and salt, and we're just going to quickly whisk them together. Nothing too serious, but this helps incorporate it all together and make sure that everything that's in this bowl is distributed equally. After we finish adding our dry ingredients, we're going to add our wet ingredients, which is the eggs, the vanilla, and the warm milk. And then we're going to knead this by hand for about 20 minutes. This is optional, but if you do have a stand mixer with a dough hook attachment, you'll understand what that is if you have one. but I'll add a picture also just for reference. If you have that, you can add your mixture into that stand mixture and mix it for about 10-15 minutes. And then you're gonna add your butter and then knead that for about another 5-10 minutes. 5 minutes if you have a stand mixer, 10 minutes if you are kneading it by hand, just until it becomes dough-like, which I will also show you. So this is what the dough should be looking like once you are finished kneading it. It's nice and smooth, it is not like crumbling apart, and it just looks like one lump. So here is where you're going to cover your dough with either a cheesecloth or cling wrap, and you're going to leave that to rise for about an hour and a half. So once it's done rising, you're going to uncover your dough and you're going to pinch all the air out. You're going to cut these donuts into whatever size you want. Remember that these rise while you're like cooking them, like they'll expand while you're cooking them or you're frying them, and so whatever size you cut them, they're always going to be just like a little bit bigger. You're going to put your dough onto whatever surface you have. I used my cutting board just because it was cleaner than like my table, so I put it on a cutting board and I'm taking a knife and I'm cutting out these small little dough balls that I'm putting onto a lined baking tray, which you can line with parchment paper. So after you do that, you're going to want to allow these to rest for 30 minutes. Yes, you need them to do that because it gives them more air. So while you're letting the rest, in the last like maybe 5-10 minutes, you're going to take your neutral oil. Alright, now let's pause here because now I have another word to explain to you. So a neutral oil is an oil that has little to no flavor, that won't affect the taste of your food that you're cooking, like any food pretty much that you're cooking. And there are 3 major types of oil that you can use. It's canola oil, vegetable shortening, or coconut oil. Those are the things that will have the least flavor when frying your foods, especially if it's like super oily foods like donuts. So you're going to take a lot of this oil, just enough to like cover your donuts, flip them over and stuff, and you're going to let that heat up to test to see if it's ready. You can, if you have like a little like thing to put in the oil for like frying candy or stuff like that, you want to test it to see if it's 350 degrees, or you can test it with a wooden spoon, and you're just going to stick it in there, and if it starts to bubble, then you know it's ready. So once your oil is ready to start frying your donuts in, you're going to want to drop your donuts in there very carefully. You don't want to splash oil on yourself, it will hurt a lot. So you're going to drop them in there very carefully, or you can place them on the spoon and then slowly like drop the spoon into the oil. And those are like 2 different ways to fry these donuts. So you're going to want to fry your donuts for about 2 to 3 minutes on each side, or until golden brown, just to make sure that they're cooked all the way through and that they have a nice coating to them. This is completely optional also, but once they're cold, you can roll them in sugar and pipe them with the lemon custard filling, or you can just have them regular donuts, like non-glazed, non-sugared, and just eat them how they are. But yeah, that's totally up to you. And that's it. Enjoy the rest of the video. So this step is also not necessary, this is an optional step, but if you're feeling like your lemon curd is too thick, I would probably say, and you want it to be like a little bit creamier, a little bit fluffier, you can take some heavy whipping cream with like just a little bit of sugar. Like if you have leftover sugar from rolling your donuts around in it, you can add like a pinch of that sugar or two into a separate bowl. You're going to take your heavy whipping cream. You don't need a lot, I would say maybe a cup of it is enough. And you're going to take that and you're going to take a hand whisker, or if you have a jar, you can shake it that way. But you're going to take that and you're going to whisk it until it stiff peaks. This is when you know that the whipped cream is ready, when it like stands on its own when you take your mixer out of it. And then you're going to slowly fold in your lemon curd until it becomes a creamy mixture. This is also an optional tip. If you have a piping bag, you can use a piping bag. If you have a piping tip, you can use that as well. Here's what it looks like for me, because I'm kind of a baker. I'm not like a professional baker, but I have piping tips and piping bags and stuff. So here's what it looks like for me once I use the piping tip in the piping bag. If you don't have a piping bag, you don't need to go out and buy one. You can just use like saran wrap or like a Ziploc bag and cut a hole through that, and that works fine as well. And then to fill the donuts, you're going to take like a knife and you're going to stab it in the middle and swirl it around a little bit. This squares a hole in it and a place for you to put this lemon custard filling. and then you're just going to pipe it in that way. Or if you don't want to do that, you can, you know, eat your donut and like dip it in the lemon custard filling. If you don't want to use it as a filling, you can use it as a dip. Really up to you, your choice, but I hope you enjoyed this video.